But my next task is going to fit in air conditioning to this old Corrado using Mark IV parts. It fits, but not quite, so I'm going to have to bend it out and straighten it out around here, because it knocks around the right hand side chassis leg. So I need to straighten this out, kink it over a little bit. So I need to work out how to do this. This is where YouTube comes in. So I had an idea while watching other YouTube videos on how to bend pipe, and it seems I've got all the parts I need already here. Fire, something to fill the aluminium pipe, because if you just try and bend aluminium pipe, it's either going to crush, bend or snap. So you need to get it up to a good working temperature. So I'm going to try and flatten that out there. That's it. Not getting hot enough, you're either going to bend it, crush it, snap the pipe. You've got to be really careful. A little bit of a bend in one place can make a massive amount of difference. Can make it move a lot. So lots of little bends. Keep checking. After what feels like a day of messing around, this is the configuration I think I'm going with. I've tried every intercooler that I've got, every condenser I've got, a few radiators, but they're all pretty much the same size as what I've already got in there. VW never changed the size of the radiators very often. So I'm sticking with the aluminium radiator there. Going out of sync here. This is completely wrong as far as manufacturers are concerned. I'm doing the AC condenser in the middle because of the height of how it sits on the bottom there. I'll show you brackets and stuff when I've actually made them and got it mounted. And then it looks like I'm going to put the actual intercooler more or less behind the bumper. I'm going to see how much higher I can get it, and then I'm going to do some ducting stuff with some aluminium plate or something, just to make sure they'll get a full condenser of air, considering that the standard Mark IV one is only about that big and the orifice for getting the air is probably about that big. It's still going to be a massive upgrade. I've opted to use a bit of angle iron because it's about the right sort of diameter that this needs to be away from that chassis leg, so I'll be able to run a weld up here, run a weld down the bottom, possibly along there, just to give it that structure. Of course there's going to be little rubber grommets in between here, just to give it that, again, isolation from the oscillations. So again, I'm just going to measure that height. So I've now measured that bit. That's the bit I need to chop off, cut it up to there. Should be able to tack it on, drill a hole, and that's done. So once you've got it in, that's just got on one little single tack. Just going to get the height right again, just by putting a little spacer. Get the right height, get it fitted, double check it before running the big tack weld through it. Well, that's both strong enough now, but actually pull on it, it's not going to come off. So again, put spacers in, try it on. And yes, I cut a little square out for the pipe work to go through, just in case you try this yourself. Right, that looks good. But you're asking why have I not secured the top? Plain simple reason. I've got boost pipes that I need to get through there, so intercooler's going to be next. It doesn't sit in the ideal position but we'll be able to get something to work in our advantage. Let's get it in there first and then see what we can tweak. As we can see, it fits quite nice, so if you just put the centre grill on there, you would never know, would you? And it's one way to retrofit aircon. The only problem is I've got this thing to squeeze in there. This is why looking for a slim one of these would have been ideal, but I'm going to go with what I've got because I can't really find anything much smaller. They all seem to be the same depth apart from OEM ones, and nothing just seems to tally up. But when we actually look down there, it's this good bit of space, a little bit tight here, but we can use some of that to our advantage, quite surprisingly. The only good thing is that this radiator, being aluminium, good at dissipating the heat, so if I've got a little bit less airflow over there, it's not really going to notice that much. Okay, a little less room than I originally had. I'm gonna have to get that to sit just a little bit closer. And now the weather's changed, I'm still carrying on with these aircon pipes. So essentially, I'm heating up little areas of it, trying to strain it out. I'm using big pieces of wood, just brute force to try and push them back. Just remember, this is filled full of sand. It's going to absorb some of the heat, so if you were to just heat it up on the bare empty tube, that would probably get so hot it would just melt and kink. So the sand is also acting as stopping it from being crushed, which also means that when you're heating it up, you've got to heat it up a little bit more, so it's absorbing heat into the sand, which then keeps it hotter for longer, so you can still work, keep it viable. Well, that's it in theory anyway. Yes, the top of this pipe I've actually chopped because it just worked out to be too long and decided to join it. Well, that looks a lot more better. It just needs a little bit of tweaking, but it's just starting to rain now. So you can see how that suddenly changed to that location. So just a little bit more tweaking and that should be pretty much ready to get welded up. Just got to go and grab the headlight, make sure nothing's fouling, make sure it all sits right. But that looks quite good. Proper job. Now it's really starting to rain as I'm doing the small pipe. So how I'm doing the small pipe, essentially just taping it round and using the big heavy pipe to mould it round. So I'm going to put a bit more tape around there, push it down. was happy. I thoroughly cleaned out all the sand. That's one thing I didn't film. So I've got my aircon pipes back and I'm happy. So happy, I've even polished them. Not to show Concours standard, but I've polished them, and I don't do polishing. So there's a little bit of a TIG weld along there, and I've managed to put what was hoping to be a factory style heat shrink round. It's a little bit too shiny, but at least it sort of covers it up and makes it just look a little bit prettier, because the one that was originally on there was a little bit more rubberized. So if you know anywhere that does like a rubberized heat shrink rather than the shiny stuff, let me know down in the comments. I'll probably buy some and replace them. But yeah, ever since I worked on a nice shiny car last week, or was it the week before? It was the week before. I've had to polish them because they looked very used, very tired, and the same the thin one. So I've polished up the thin one, made it a little bit more cleaner. So you know what, I could spend a lot more time getting them pristine, but no, that's not me. And we managed to put a swarf lock on the end, and the pipe I've already fitted. So let's get these in and let's see how it looks. Well, that's the aircon pipes as good as finished. The only things I've got to do is the little clips that hold them together. Yeah, let's go and have a look. These little clips here, I need to go and find where I've stashed them all and just do a little bit of tweaking. So join them, screw them into the chassis, and I can bend this thinner pipe just a little bit closer, make it look neat, make it all look secure. There's the connection. That's going to run something like that until I actually get the headlight and that in position. I'm not going to tighten that up, but yeah, that's fitted. New condenser, lines are in there. Oh, how I've changed. Those polished lines there. So the only thing else I need to do is find the screw in there. So as soon as I screw that in, that's going to pull that all tight, and it's going to change the angles ever so slightly. So that's why I can't fit the fittings around here, because it will move it ever so slightly. So let's just be where it is. So that just needs a little bit of a rubber mounting in, and the same with the other side. So that bracket's actually in, and all I've got to do is lengthen that a little bit. So I'll do that tonight. So as you can see, the pipe works as good as done. The condenser's there, everything's there apart from the gas. There's a few little bolts here and there, but that's nothing major. So it's certainly worth all the effort putting this pipe work in. So bending it, making it fit there. It doesn't quite look factory, but it's good enough. We've got the air conditioning box in there. I'm going to have aircon. It's going to be the only luxury. I am building this motor and the whole car to be a high miles per gallon vehicle. Ideally, I'm aiming for 77 miles per gallon, which is pretty much impossible, but do you know what? Let's try to achieve it. What's the worst that can happen? You get 66. I'll do that all day, won't I? Well, hey ho. If this is the sort of thing that you like, subscribe to the channel. I'm always messing around with something VW. If you're not going to subscribe, just tap the like button. If you've got any comments, leave them down below. I will actually go around to read them and ideally respond. So one comment I would like is if you know where I can get actually air conditioning heat shrink that almost matches the The factory one's a little bit more rubberized, a little bit more thicker than the one I've got here, which is just sort of like a shiny heat shrink. Other than that, thank you for watching. Ta-da!